Yeah, that reminds me, when we are playing like pop rock music, when there is a lyrics on that song. So my thing is, when I'm playing the beats and fills and stuff, I'm more like understanding what those lyrics uh, are meaning for me. So I think you have a more like that same zone with the band, and you are filling in something. When singer is singing some phrase, you are just if you want to erase something, you are just banging something there in the middle of. So you are very into that uh, same state of mind when you are understanding the lyrics as well.
Yeah, but also like it's lyrics are really important. The vocal performance is very important, but also part of the vocal performance, for example, is also the lead melody and the like how the singer sings. It's like like some people sing just melodies, no lyrics, just melodies, sounds, and it sounds as inviting, as powerful with or without lyrics when some people do that. So I think that's really fascinating because the melody is the key, and it's like one just one of the just one of the instruments, but like one instrument that matters a lot in the whole context and delivers the same story. So basically all the instruments need to deliver the same story.
Hmm. And one occur came to my mind about the Rio de Janeiro. What was the most important lesson you learned from Rio de Janeiro, the culture of Brazil and rhythm? You were born in Jyväskylä like I, and it's a little bit different culture
Yeah,
in the middle of Finland.
slightly
Jyväskylä,
different. Yeah.
slightly different comparing to Rio de Janeiro. So, what was your biggest lesson? And yeah.
In terms of drumming, I remember one moment in a Mangueira Samba school, which is the best Samba school in the whole universe, of course.
Of course.
And I have been playing in Mangueira for the past 10 years in the carnival. I even have the Mangueira shirt here underneath. And once I was a little bit worried, and then one of my drummer colleagues said that, okay, what are you doing? I gave you the drum for you to become happy, to be happy, to play, to be happy. And that was, and that is probably the most important lesson that life in Rio has taught me. This is the Mangueira Samba
Look
School.
at that.
Mangueira
Look at that.
Carnival 2002.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there is
Anyhow,
how many
that
musicians?
basic message
Yeah. Yeah.
that music makes us happy, and we should always remember to be happy when we have the possibility to make music.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's a really really beautiful lesson, and music is like one of the tools we can use to be happy, express our happiness and find our happiness because we have it.
Yes.
Certain things make us happy, and music can help us find that.
Okay, but what do you guys think about the music? Okay, there is like rhythm, melody, harmony, and that's the ingredients of the music, which called music. So there's first rhythm, and it's a different thing. Hit the drum like your two hands than playing piano, which is more like feminine thing. I think the rhythm and drumming is more like
Maybe you're a feminine piano
masculine
player.
thing. So, how you feel about that? Harmony, it's a different thing, but it's like a rhythm and melody.
In a way, I also belong to the universal music family, and for us, the rhythm is most important. So if you stay in the same pulse, with the rest of the band if the whole band stays in the same rhythm. Even though there are some wrong notes, it still sounds beautiful. But if you start to lose the rhythm, the band falls apart and the music in a way dies. So in a way, rhythm is the most important thing. Of course, melody is extremely important, and harmony also. But the rhythm, in a way, all the drummers, all the musicians in the band have the same responsibility as the drummer to keep the rhythm. And of course, do the variations and take liberties and with the phrasing and so on. But the basic pulse has to be like synchronized. So through that we can create beautiful music together.
Exactly. Have you ever thought about this? But like when when you and I we were doing like drum lessons, samba based basic rhythm drum lessons, we were stepping to the rhythm, speaking the rhythm, feeling the rhythm with our whole body and mind as much as we can. And do you ever think that your pulse, your heart rate is the same as the pulse of the song?
Yes, for sure. And samba rhythm is actually quite close to the human heartbeat. But
About approximately how many beats per minute?
I think it depends, but in a way the human heartbeat has this sort of like doo-doom, doo-doom.
Yeah, that
doo-doom.
kind of way. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I remember there's this mathematical side in me, and more or less during 7 years, almost every day I went to the Conservatory School of Music in the drum room, and I put my headphones with the metronome. So I really love to study with the metronome and to make the metronome alive. So, I have the... But the it's always there, but it's like invisible, and it's like a friend who keeps you going.
Yeah, it's not your enemy. Click is not your enemy. It's your friend.
Yeah, but it really is. It's like, like that's the pulse. You're following it, and that's like the golden line, and you can dance around it. Sometimes step on it, but dance around it, and that's like it's really amazing, because like when you add the human touch, the human feel, it's like it's never mathematically perfect. And that's why it sounds so interesting. That's why it sounds so human.
Yeah. And with my drum students, I'm always telling those, you have to internalize the time. And internalizing time is like when you have like a 60 beats per minute, which is like 1 second. So you're kind of breathing like 1, 2, 3, 4, like inhale, exhale, like 1 bar, and then you are inhaling, and you are more like into that rhythm when you are breathing at the same beats per minute.
Exactly.
So you are keeping more in time. It's easier you to keep on that time.
Yeah, I've noticed, like playing as a drummer with like electro rock bands, electro pop. So I'm using the metronome, and sometimes you don't always hear the metronome. You just have to trust that you're on point. You're on the grid, you're in the right part of the song to the beat. So breathing helps me a lot, because like when I'm playing a pause, which are also played, So when I'm playing a pause, I'm breathing in, and it's like part of the I'm breathing in or out, depends on what's happening. But I think it's really like those are the moments when I really realize like, oh my god, like this is so in my body, you know.
Yeah. And it's a funny thing, play around those tempo. Okay, there is 60 beats per minute. So it's 1 second. And it's coming from my stereo system. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathing exercises, I love it.
So it's really like breathing exercises. So you're going to that tempo more. And
Can you hear the metronome?
Yeah. Can you hear it? So I'm putting here like
Yeah.
this.
Accent.
So what I'm doing here, I'm inhaling, and when there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'm exhaling after 1 bar, and very deep breathing, like in yoga. So I have noticed I'm keeping perfectly in time, and I can breathe that tempo as well when there's like a 2040 beats per minute, which is like 4 times faster.
2040.
Yeah, sorry, 2040. Yeah, which
200.
is like 240.
Yeah.
Sorry, which is like
I
4
hope
times.
so.
Which is like 4 times faster. So,
Yeah. 2040.
Yeah,
That's
so-
a weird number.
Yeah, because when you're understanding the breathing, that's the tempo. You're perfectly in time. Yeah, and that's the thing. We are playing around with my drum students as well.
Yeah. I was thinking like, what kind of yoga
that's
are
a
you
beautiful
doing?
exercise and beautiful message for the students to become conscious of the breathing, and then after that, all the technical stuff gets easier as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it comes more naturally because like you're
Yeah.
not thinking what you're doing. You're just like doing what you feel. Of course, there's some part of it, you need to learn the movements. You need to learn the distance between notes and what part of your body plays what.
Yeah.
But it's like it's all so much more natural when you just remember to breathe when you're doing it, and it's a little bit more energy away from focusing on what you're actually doing, because it's like reminding yourself to be a human being expressing these rhythms and the pulse.
Yeah. So it's keep calm and keep breathing.
Keep calm and keep breathing.
Yeah.
that could
In
be a
many
t-shirt.
situations,
Yeah.
in many situations in life, you are just concentrating that you are breathing normally. If there's like thousands of people or if there's like 1 people. So you're always okay. That's like a message coming from yoga. So that's a new thing for me. When I was like a 20. so I have a little bit different mind setup
Yeah.
nowadays.
So Sami, like when you went to Rio, so how did your musical approach develop in the first couple of years?
First of all, it was surprising that I found myself almost immediately in a rock band, in a power trio. And also it was surprising that actually even before that, I found myself playing traditional jazz standards and also Brazilian Bossa Nova standards. And when talking about Brazilian music, I understood that I before I went to Rio, I didn't understand about Bossa Nova, or even maybe samba a little bit, but
What does Bossa Nova mean in language? Something new.
Bossa Nova means the new thing.
New thing. Yeah.
It's like
That's
the new
timeless.
thing that appeared in the 1950s, and it was like a mixture of more or less Afro-Brazilian samba rhythms, some European harmonic ideas, and also the North American jazz harmonies.
Okay.
But basically, it was just a new thing, and it actually revolutionized the drummers playing, because before that, the drum set didn't even almost existed. Didn't exist in Brazil. It was slowly developed through this well, a little bit before Bossa Nova came. But anyway, before that, the drummers weren't playing so independently. Bossa Nova was, in a way, one of the great moments of independence in the Brazilian music.
Oh, it's really interesting. So maybe there's a connection, Bossa Nova, the new thing, like so many things get started because of like someone is being rebellious, like disco, all this, like you're basically politically being, like you demand change, you demand something to change. So Bossa Nova, like the new thing, it's a really, really timeless name.
And I think there is this tutum as well. Like in our heartbeat, like in samba.
Yes, and in a way, Bossa Nova is like the family home version of the loud samba that was played in the streets. So in a way, Bossa Nova was like a more quiet way to play samba, and also it was a mixture with the European and in a way classical music influences, and also with jazz influences. So it's a really beautiful mixture of elements.
So that's why they are playing in Bossa Nova beat on a cross stick.
Yes.
Not like hitting in the middle of the snare drum, but cross stick, like
it's like very apartment friendly way of playing. Playing drums in
even I could play here at my apartment a Bossa Nova beat with the real drum set.
You can. They didn't have Lota, and they didn't.
Well, I have Lota here.
Things,
yeah, so, I've been playing that a lot. Yeah,
but that's really fascinating. Like it is so cool. Like this part of the innovation. Like, oh my god! Like I can't play this loud instrument. Like everyone's playing so loud, and you think that the sound is only loud, and then you're like, what if I just play with my hands? What if I just play with a side stick, or put a towel on top of the drum? It's like, and the sound changes. Like, wow, what a sound! Like this is different. This is Bossa Nova.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, when you're a youngster. Like I started playing drums. I got my first drum kit when I was 14 years old. So I was very much metal and rock and grunge and everything like that. And I have my first band, and we had the big Marshall amplifiers with my family garage. And I had my first drum set, Asama.
What is that?
What is that? What is that label? I remember we went to Suolahti with my father, and it cost 3,200 markka. Not euros, but markka.
Oh yeah, wow!
And that's how I started, and we were playing so loud, so you couldn't, hear anything about it. And there was a lot of distortion on the guitars, and I was banging crash cymbals. Like, so that's how you're starting do music.
It's so great.
But nowadays it's like, okay, I can make music like if they're a musician without their instruments.
Yeah. It's so nice because
so there is so many steps when you're a musician and you have your career.
Yeah.
So it's a funny thing to going back and forth. What kind of bands you've been playing and what kind of styles and what kind of gigs and what kind of people you've met and who are the very important people during your career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did you find each other, you guys?
We were at the same school, Kesyn yläaste.
Of course.
What is that in English? Not high school, but
yeah, the upper secondary school.
Upper secondary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were probably in yläaste and I was in lukio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I went. We were studying at the same lukio as well.
Okay.
Syngneus lukio.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember Sami was playing at Puhkupilli Bandit. We was a symphony orchestra, and then he was playing in some Suuret suljetut purppurasilmät. Pop rock band.
That sounds like a name you could have come up with, Sami. Like, what is it? Suuret purppurasilmät.
It's like big,
it's the name came in the dream of the guitar player received the name in his dream.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tongue twister for non-Finnish people.
Yeah.
Suuret purppurasilmät. Yeah. Repeat. Yeah. Like, go ahead.
But I remember, Sami is a tall guy. How tall are you?
More or less
centimeters.
193 and a half.
193 and a half, and I'm 190.
Oh.
So yeah, Sami was walking on the streets of Jyväskylä, and I was like, whoa, there is a virtuoso.
And I'm another 10 centimeters down.
So yeah, that's the big impression when you are young and you're kind of looking up, people like concretely.
Yeah, literally looking up.
Literally, yeah.
So like, I have no one to look up to, like no one to look down and like.
And talking about Jyväskylä, it's a very good school, or town to get good musician, because there is this conservatorio and ammattikorkeakoulu and very good, very high level of education of music. Yeah,
it's very cool.
Dedicated teachers and opportunities to play different kinds of music.
Yeah,
it's a good
musical
good
town.
So they made
there is Lutakko, which is like one of the biggest rock venues.
Yeah,
in Suomi, in Finland, like Tavastia in Helsinki.
Yeah, Lutakko is well known.
Yeah. Depending if I was born like a little town, it wouldn't be so easy to get there.
Yeah. So like, when was your first gig in Lutakko? Like
in Lutakko, we were practicing in Lutakko.
So they had rehearsal rooms there too?
Yes, upstairs.
Oh.
And I remember every year we got bigger rehearsal room, kind of rising up that pyramid status.
Oh.
More you are, learning and more intense you are playing, you are getting more space around you.
Yeah.
And more respect.
Yeah. You see,
which young boy needs a lot.
It means everything.
It means everything.
Yeah, e.g.
immaterial language. RESPCT. Yeah, but my first gig, I remember it was the Jyväskylä Sataman Yö with my band Downfell. And we were playing, like grunge rock.
That's a good name for a band.
Yeah. And we made a couple of demos, but then I had to move to Helsinki.
You had to move to the big city.
Big city. big church. So they say in Finland.